Then in lean thinking, you will go to see the process. What do you mean by tracking or seeing the process? Experience and changes the way you view the process, allows you to review what has been done in every step and where is the waste in every step, where is the problem in the process, and what is the changes needed to make the process more lean. As this old man uh, uh, march on his uh, footprints to find out if it is in the right track or not. How can I see the process? How can I apply my process? Start at the beginning of the process. Walk through the sequence of the steps to be completed and observe what happened at each step. If any step you find some problems or waste, you have to think about it. So there is no need to waste your time in cycle time or defect. A tour of the area. You can go through the area you are working on, making your observation, meeting your people if you are not the only one who doing all the steps, and find the opportunities to understand what is the long time waste or waiting or defect that could happen. What are the wastes that I am looking for? We have to know what is the types of waste to find out when we are seeing our process. The waste have 8 types of waste, with the first letter of every one in a word: downtime. Down is the defect if the outcome is not correct. O for overproduction, that overproduction of the outcome will lead to too much inventory and in unsatisfied workplace. Waiting time for the next step will lead to unsatisfied customer. Non-utilized talent, that if you are using highly mental talent people in doing something, that if you ask the dental assistant to go to bring the file, or if you are sending a nurse or ICU nurse to accompany a patient to make an X-ray, that it has a high talent, that it is a high level nurse, it is not some assistant that could push the wheelchair to do the work. So it is a waste, non-utilized talent. Transportation of material and machines from place to place. Inventory for long time or high amount or wrong inventory. The motion of people in between different places. When patient comes, we will ask him, would you please to go down to take an appointment and then come back to tell us where it is, or when you are in need of some material which is not available, the nurse has to go out of the clinic, dental assistant has to work out the clinic, going to the inventory in first floor to bring whatever is needed. For ICU, we usually calculate the motion of people by steps or by meter to find out how far or how many steps the person is moving during the process to diminish the waste of motion or extra processing, and we are going to discuss one by one. Defect like unnecessary medication are prescribed. Whenever this are all examples of in healthcare that our product is defective, so it will not satisfy the patient. Like either medication I prescribed a high-priced medication or a very strong antibiotic, while a regular antibiotic can solve the problem of the patient. Overproduction. The defect could lead to redo that all those defective outcome that you examine the patient and then you write down a referral to certain specialty. In defect, you can refer the outcome of your process, the examination of the patient is to be referred to a certain specialty. If you have a wrong referral, so whenever the patient went to that specialist, waiting there and then examined by a specialist, he said that, no, you are referred to me in a wrong way. Would you please return back to the first treating doctor to have a referral to the other specialty, which is waste. Overproduction, preparing too much outcomes which is not needed in that time, like preparing several patients before the next care step is ready. That as we will discuss next meeting, inshallah, in OR, we ask the patient to come fasting in the morning at 7 o'clock after midnight the night before, didn't take any food, and come tomorrow because it is your operating day. He came fasting 7 o'clock, but unfortunately, he will not enter the OR except after 2 or 3 p.m. because there are too much patient, and we prepare all the patient before the first one has been finished. So overproduction, which is waste. Waiting for test result, waiting for physician, waiting for missed material, waiting for some documents which is not present in the clinic. I need to make an X-ray or referral to some specialist. I ask the dental assistant, where is the referral paper? It is already finished, so I have to go and to let the patient wait till I have to go to take some or borrow some documents from another clinic. Non-utilized talent, that I have a high qualified personnel, I am not using it properly. Same like now you are already certified, and by time you will be green belt and black belt certified, and we have those high quality personnel, and we didn't use them properly in running quality improvement project in the organization, or the head nurse is working to print some results. So the floor supervision prints some report. It is another way of waste. Transportation of material or equipment. It is like we can ask the patient for moving the patient for diagnostic, that we will ask for a wheelchair, and we will ask one nurse to push down the patient in the morning to the diagnostic department, and at the diagnostic department there will be crowded 3 to 4 patients waiting there and using the wheelchair only till their turn will come. This is waste. Transportation of inventory, that in some cases keeping the wheelchair in our department just in case if needed. And we find out this problem of inventory even in my homeland. We have some old nurses that they came to keep all the instruments needed or not needed at the time now, just to be in case if needed, it will be available. This will lead to a high level inventory, which is not quite well. In motion, again, if we don't know where is the wheelchairs and we are using all the chairs by pushing them towards diagnostic department. So if we are in need of some wheelchair for that another patient to be sent to OR or to anywhere, to lab or anything, so hunting and searching for wheelchair or hunting or searching for some material which is not available, this motion of the person is not quite, it is a waste. Extra processing, taking more steps in processing to do something, like ordering unnecessary tests, or when we renew our contract, our medical card is not renewed automatically. We ask the staff to take his medical record card and go to the patient affairs to renew their medication coverage because they are renewing their contract. It is an over processing, over steps that could be eliminated to make the process a little bit lean by contacting whenever the in the system the contract is renewed, the ID card has to be renewed, the medical record coverage has to be renewed, same like that the number of days of vacation to be renewed, and everything to be renewed at the same time by lean thinking. These are the 8 types of waste. Again, defect, unnecessary medication are prescribed. Waste, overproduction waste, that the staff is preparing several patients at a time before next care step is ready. Waiting time, waiting for test, waiting for doctor, waiting for the next step of the care service. Think about the non-utilized talent, that you have some highly qualified personnel doing something that not in need of this knowledge and the skill. The transportation, moving of material and the machines everywhere in the organization, the inventory, where to invent the materials and how to invent and to what extent, what is the order limit. So nothing to be kept more than to take more space, or very short to have a shortage at the time of need. You have to think smartly, leanly. The motion of persons inside the organization, to find out and to calculate how much the motion is needed by everyone to do in process. The extra processing, extra steps that could be eliminated to make our process lean. When you write down the map of the process, you have to think about these 8 wastes if it is present, and think about how to overcome, to decrease the defect, to eliminate the waiting time, to decrease the overproduction, to be optimized. Whenever you assign somebody to do something, he has to be within his intelligence and capability, not used non-utilized talent people in doing something that a proper one could be do the job. The transportation and motion of machine and personnel, the level of the inventory. What about if the steps is extra and needs to be reduced? Whenever you map your process, think about what is the type of waste that is present, how effect of that waste on the process itself, and think about how we can eliminate this waste. We will go first step by step about these defects, these waste types. It defects anytime something other than the exact desired time happened, like too much or too little of something to be produced, or you produce something which is not needed, or in a wrong way, or it is the right thing but with some defects, like you give some wrong information or incomplete information, or to take a wrong decision like wrong referral to the other specialty. These are all defects you have to think about, and to what extent it will affect your process, and how to overcome it when you map your process in a lean methodology. The overproduction. It does mean that producing something more or sooner than needed, it will create additional waste of inventory, like making many patient meal without reviewing those who are discharged. By the end, you are looking for how many inpatient we have. Yesterday, we have 28 patients, so we will produce today 28 breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But unfortunately, 6 patients have been discharged, so you have produced more meal. Or in another way, at home, guessing what sandwiches your family are in need, so you did it while some of your kids are not hungry or does not like this type of sandwiches you made as a mother. Building to inventory instead of customer demand, that I will keep all these paper empty document that may be in need, which will make heaps of paper in the clinic. Some examples of overproduction is purchasing more coffee beans or more instrument that is needed, filling up date and time. This is a problem in my homeland. My nurse in the clinic, usually at the start of the clinic, she fill up the date and the time of all the forms available in the morning, and by the end of the day, the missing part either will be trashed, or she kept it for the second day, and then she will try to overwrite or to correct the date that will give unreadable date and time in the next day. So think leanly what are the wastes of overproduction in your process. Waiting. When work is unable to proceed because something is unavailable, can result in wasted labor, delayed work, and increased cycle time. Waiting for doctor, waiting for test, waiting for machine to start up, or waiting for a batch to be completed, or waiting for home medication on discharge. One of the most common delay time in discharge of a patient, when they order discharge, the patient will be kept till the home medication will be prepared from the pharmacy. If you are thinking wisely, you can plan the discharge that you will tell the patient that will be discharged tomorrow, and you write down the home medication, and it will be sent to the pharmacy to be prepared and sent to the ward of inpatient morning time. So whenever the patient is ready to be discharged, his medication is available and explained to him in the morning with the discharge instruction. Some examples of transaction waste: waiting for computer response, waiting for missing information, and waiting for multiple approval. So you have to think about the proper approval technique. No need to make many approval to cover something that could be approved by only some distinguished people experienced enough. His approval will be enough. So think about waiting in your process. What we are discussing is how to think what is the types of waste is present in your process, and we will give you a form for examining the waste in the process. If you write down the process map and thinking about the waste in your process, the type of this waste, we will be taught by you. What about the most common waste in our daily activity in our organization? The non-utilized talent, it is not properly utilized people. They're according to their experience, skills, and creativity, like using skilled labor for non-skilled tasks, like using dental assistant or ICU nurse to bring some material that is missing in the clinic. For transactional examples, reading information from one computer and typing it on another, which is, I see it myself when I visit some hospital. They have two systems. They open a system browsing some data and then close this browser and open another application to write down what he has read in the first application. Supervisor running copies supposed to be done by a regular person, or non-productive meeting, that whenever we have a long meeting, because we didn't think in a lean way, we didn't assign people at the end to do the work, and then we didn't regulate the meeting timing and have agenda and have a system to run the team meeting, would lead to it is non-productive without result. So think about down, defect, overproduction, waiting, non-utilized talent. Time, transportation, inventory, motion, and extra processing. T for transportation, excessive movement of things such as material, product, tools, machines, like transport part and materials to produce in between production line, or partially completed product will be moved to another area to be completed the production, or transport of physical documents when we can electronically send these documents. This transportation waste has to be considered if we are going to deal with our process with lean methodology. Time, transportation, I for inventory, more than the amount of supplies needed for the current work, like storing some instrument on hand or storing 55 gallons of cleaning solution instead of quarter bottles, and wasting our time to pour this big volume of cleaning solution into smaller one to be distributed everywhere. The gel for COVID-19 that could be used, we didn't need to bring this big bottles. We can use those bottles that it suits the usage in every clinic. For inventory, a large amount of work in process not being worked on. So you have to regulate your work in a proper way that there is no need to have a big space or big area for inventory. Time, transportation, inventory, motion. Motion is the excess movement of people, either reaching excessive distance for cup, walking to get more supplies. The nurse walk everywhere to get more supplies when needed, or walking to get output from a shared printer. So if when you are planning to process that it has to be, some documents has to be printed, make the printer available within the reach of those people. Don't use this shared printer in a way that it will lead to long motion for everybody. Walking to another building to pick up some needed paperwork, or going down and up through elevator or through on stairs to do something. Think about the motion of people in your process. The care technician seeking equipment needed, or searching for tools around workstation for workers, or walking to pick up supplies and instruction. When you design a process or write down a process or creating process map, look at the waste of motion. How about the people who doing this process? How far is the motion of their motion to achieve this process outcome? Extra processing, additional work that is done beyond what is truly needed, more steps needed to be done, like ordering unnecessary patient tests, cutting fabric materials longer, and then after doing some work, refine it to the needed long, or excessive approval, multiple level of review, multiple times to approve spending reconciliation for medication, painting a car part that is not be apparent for the customer in manufacture. These are all ways that pick up your process, create your process map, Walk your process back, summarize your observation, and find out where it is.